Hi, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wide world of sports, I tune to Sportsworldradio.
Love is priceless, sometimes darkness, and if you make it, might be timeless. So sad, I guess it's a fine mess, and all I know is now I'm lovely. Take it all away. Take the pain and the sorrow. Take it all away. A brand new tomorrow. Take it all away. The man that you once knew. Take it. Don't know what to do. Take it all away. All the moves that are so deep. Take it all away. All the moments that I couldn't be. Take it all away. I don't wanna be without you. Take it. 'Cause I never meant to hurt you.
Hey, this is EAJ Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I don't give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Eskow.
Looking for the inside track on everything sports? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Sports World Radio, the fastest 2 hours of sports talk on the internet with your hosts, Jeff Eskow and Elliot Big E Lamba.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Glad y'all could be here. Welcome to the show. We got another jam-packed show for you guys today, like we do each and every day here on Sports World Radio. Again, we do it every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. And if you live in the Central, figure it out for yourselves. That's right. All right, let's get all the particulars out of the way. I am the host, Jeff Eskow. That is Elliot Big E Lamba. Will bring him in just a minute. All the particulars, facebook.com. Follow us over there or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. That's facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. Also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio, twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio, or just hover over our pictures and click the little birdie and you can follow us that way if you're hanging out in Blab. If you're listening to the replay, it's twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio. Also, you can send us an email at swrshow@gmail.com. That's swrshow@gmail.com. If you ever want to hop in the seat, go ahead and do so. Just make sure it's all sports related and the topic we're talking about when you hop in the seat here on Blab. We do the show each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. Now, you can listen to all our shows on blabchannel.com, on sportsworldradio.com, and also here on Blab. Okay, all the replays are on sportsworldradio.com. So if you happen to miss a replay, head on over to sportsworldradio.com and check them all out. With all that being said, what do you say, hey, we bring in our co-host, Elliot Big E Lamba. What's going on there, buddy boy?
What's going on, Jeff? How you doing today,
How are you,
buddy?
my friend? Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Very, very wonderful.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that, man.
Yeah,
You're looking
man.
spiffy with your glasses on. And all that
I'm loving
good
life
stuff
with my
there.
glasses, man, because you know what? My eyes don't bug me no more. I don't get these freaking headaches anymore.
I kind of like it, man.
Yeah, and actually it does represent like kind of a cool factor, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does, man. I kind of like it, man. Kind of cool. I'm kind of digging it over there. I kind of like
man.
that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so what's going on over there?
Well, running a little slightly behind because I guess we had a link problem to start this
Yeah,
show.
I had a link problem today. When I started the show, it wasn't letting me on camera. It was just going blink, 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 and there was nobody else in there. And I had to hop out. And when I hopped out, because you weren't in, it killed the show. So I had to restart a whole brand new show.
And then it asked me if I wanted to restart it, and that's what I did. But then you were gone, and then you sent the link. So here we go.
Oh, okay. So did you close that show?
Yeah, I shut that down.
Okay, good.
I shut that
Okay,
down.
cool. All right, cool.
Okay, so at 6:09 p.m. Eastern here in Bradenton, Florida, Jeff, I'm showing 84 degrees as the current temperature. It was pretty nice day today,
84
overcast
degrees.
a little bit, but mostly sunny. Now it's again, it's dark outside. We're in the fall season, and that's the way it's gonna
84
be.
degrees was by you today?
Yeah, 84 degrees right now, actually.
I'm going to tell you, that was a hell of a lot warmer than it was out here in San Diego.
Well, it's 3:10 p.m. On the west out there. What's the weather like?
It was like around 60 degrees all day today.
Really?
Yeah, sun was shining. It was 60 degrees, and it was windy. And it's been windy all day.
Yeah, but you live near the desert, so that kind of doesn't that
Well, I
kind of
only live 15 minutes away from the beach.
okay?
You know, I live 15 minutes away from the beach, but yeah, I live inland.
Inland. Okay.
You know, it's all freeway to the beach. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Get on the freeway, you're there.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's all inland.
All right, so we got the weather
Hey,
covered.
Glenn. Welcome, Glenn. Yeah, we got the weather covered. So what else is going on in your world, my friend?
Not a whole lot. I mean, just here, getting ready to help some people out, get their evening started out right. But before we begin the show, Jeff,
Yeah.
I would just like to start by saying that on behalf of Sports World Radio, Jeff and I would like to extend our sincere condolences and full regret for the 129 people who lost their lives, as well as the 352 whom were wounded, as well as the friends and families of those victimized for what was a horrendous attack on innocent civilian lives that took place in Paris, France this past Friday. At Sportsworldradio, our prayers and wishes go out to all for speedy closure from such a sad time and situation. God bless you all. Back to you, Jeff.
Yes, very well said, my friend. Very well said. So what do you say? Don't forget. Okay, I got a couple of things I need to get to say right now. This show is brought to you sponsored by Sportsworldradio, sponsored by ProfessionalRecordingStudioEquipment.com. Head on over to ProfessionalRecordingStudioEquipment.com and get all your equipment to sound really great on Blab. That's ProfessionalRecordingStudioEquipment.com. Okay, and then I had something else to say and I totally forgot. How about them apples? Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember now. Don't forget, I had the piece of paper right here in front of me, which made me remember.
Hey, Terrence, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Terrence, what's going on? Don't forget, today at 6:45, Greg Bell from the News Tribune up there in Seattle will be joining us to talk Seattle Seahawks football. And how apropos is that after that game last night?
And what a game that was.
Right. So we got Greg Bell joining us from the News Tribune talking Seahawks football. And we have a jam-packed show all week long. Tomorrow, Terrence, you're going to like this. Terrence, fantasy guy?
Terrence? No, I don't think Terrence plays fantasy football.
Okay, tomorrow we have Derek Laughlin from Fantasy Football Maniacs coming in to talk fantasy football with us tomorrow at 6:45. On Wednesday, we got Josh Pavnell.
Dude, real quick.
Yeah.
That Fantasy Football Maniac site is off the hook.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
FantasyFootballManiacs.com. Get there, people.
On Wednesday, we got Josh Pavnell coming in talking Eagles football from Philly Mag. Thursday, Darrell Ledbetter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution coming in talking Falcons football. And on Friday, Cameron Wolf coming from the Denver Post talking Denver football. Now, how apropos is that?
Ooh.
Okay.
That's huge because we're about to talk about some Denver stuff here real quick.
So we got a jam-packed show. Don't forget, Greg Bell coming up at 6:45 today talking Seattle Seahawks football. So get all your Seattle friends in here to hang out and ask the questions. All right, where are we going first, my friend?
Also, real quick before tomorrow's show, just make sure that you come on out because I'm going to be interviewing Derek Laughlin myself. I've got a bunch of questions ready for him. Whether you're a casual fan of fantasy football or you're just on the fence or whatever it is, come on out. Get some insight from an expert as far as fantasy football goes. It's going to be a lot of fun. So bring your questions, and who knows, you might even be able to get your roster looked over and a lineup set up for you this week.
You just never know.
Never know. All right, let's get over to the NFL because that's going to be the major talk of the day. This is our Monday NFL review show, and we're just going to go ahead and start off with some topics real quick. Do you remember this conversation we had yesterday, Jeff? Do you remember who Case Keenum is?
Case Keenum? No.
Case Keenum.
No.
He briefly played for the Houston Texans.
Okay.
I think it was when Matt Schaub was initially injured.
Right.
Well, Case Keenum has just been named the St. Louis Rams starting quarterback.
Case Keenum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He will be starting versus the Ravens this Sunday.
Well, I guess I'm not picking them. It kind of made my decision for me right there.
Well, then the next one ought to be a pretty easy decision for you as well. Okay? It appears that Peyton Manning is dealing with plantar fasciitis, which is something that I've actually dealt with before. Only not to the degree he is because he has a tear.
Uh-huh.
He has a partial tear. Actually, his brother Eli had a full tear once and played through it. But I can tell you right now, it's not a pretty thing. It's very painful. When you step, it feels like you just stepped on a big old spike and it just goes right through your foot.
His little brother played through it. What does that say for Peyton?
I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is that Peyton Manning is not going to start this Sunday.
No.
He will be replaced by Brock Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler?
Yeah, Brock Osweiler.
Really? What the hell's going on? You got two guys playing. You don't even know who the hell they are.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler for the Broncos and Case Keenum for the Rams.
What's up with that?
It's the new NFL. Guys get injured and unknowns come in.
That's crazy.
It's totally crazy. But you know what? That's just another easy pick for you this week because Osweiler and the Broncos are going to go visit the, do I dare say, upstart Chicago Bears.
The upstart Chicago Bears.
Yeah. You see what they did to St. Louis yesterday?
No.
37-14.
37-4. What the hell's going on in Chicago?
In St. Louis, nonetheless.
What the hell's going on with Chicago?
I don't know, man, but they put a whooping on San Diego. They put a whooping this week. They put a whooping this week on St. Louis. Okay. And that's probably why Case Keenum is now the starting quarterback for the St. Louis Rams.
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Wow. What a name.
So Kubiak officially announced today that Brock Osweiler will start week 11.
That I saw. How about that?
Crazy?
He came in yesterday and scored 13 points, didn't he?
Yeah. But it was in garbage time. Come on. Kansas City was up 29-0.
I know.
You know?
How's Peyton Manning feeling today? Broke the record and then got benched all in the same game.
Yeah, man. There's a meme for that. If you guys want to go check that out on my Facebook page. Oh, my God.
How great is that, huh?
Friday, and there's Chris Tucker, and then the body of Ice Cube, and then the head.
Oh, how great is that, huh?
And it's
how awesome is that right there?
You broke the record and then got benched on the same day?
Exactly. Broke the record and got benched the same day.
Hilarious, man.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, what does this do now to Denver? I mean, all of a sudden they go from what they were considered being the high and mighty to a team in total disarray because they got New England the week after.
There's a couple of teams like that.
Yeah.
Well, listen. New England didn't play that well last night neither.
No, they played well. It's just the Giants played just as well and didn't quite make it. They gave Tom Brady too much time last night. And we'll discuss that when we get to the game.
When we get there. Right.
But, they gave Tom Brady too much time on that clock. And on top of all that, you don't give Tom Brady more than one extra chance. They gave him one, and then they turned around and they freaking dropped an interception.
Correct.
That was the second chance.
That was the game right there.
Giants, you don't get a third chance to screw it up because that's what Tom Brady basically did.
That was the game right there when that ball dropped when he dropped the ball on that interception.
Yeah. That was it. That was giving Tom Brady another life, which is, I mean, when you got your foot on Tom Brady's throat, you need to squash.
Right.
You need to squash into it. The Giants didn't.
Right.
And they also made a few blunders down there towards the end of the game with time management.
Well, they should have scored a touchdown instead of that freaking field goal. They should have ran the ball instead of trying to pass.
Yeah. Although there's a little controversy behind that incomplete pass in the end zone.
It was an incomplete pass. I'm a Giant fan. It was an incomplete pass.
You know what? It was to the standard, but you know what? There was a similar play like that this year in Detroit where Golden Tate was stripped of the ball when he made that second step. And they actually ruled that a completion, which wound up costing the Chicago Bears that game.
Correct.
So, I mean,
I knew it wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't either. But, you know, that opens up the discussion of what the hell is a catch?
He didn't take two steps.
No, man. Because the same exact play gets called one way in one game and one way in another. What exactly is a catch? Nobody really knows.
The catch is the opinion of the referee.
That's all that is these days.
That's exactly right. It's the opinion of the referee.
Even in replay, you'll see that they won't reverse something that's obvious.
Correct.
And to me, that kind of puts a stain on the whole purpose of replay.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's fans, and that's the NFL, right? And yeah. Okay.
It is what it is, man.
Speaking of NFL and officiating, Jacksonville's last-minute win over Baltimore actually should have never happened. You want to hear more?
Why?
NFL spokesperson Michael Signora confirmed to NFL media on Monday that the game officials in the game where the Jaguars defeated the Ravens 22-20 failed to flag the Jaguars for the false start penalty that would have wiped out the eventual game-winning 53-yard field goal.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
So the officiating is doing a bang-up job all over the place.
Wow. Oopsie.
Yeah, oopsie is right. That
I think these guys need to go back to officiating school.
You know what? I think you're right. As a matter of fact, I know you're right because
who was the referee of the game last night in the Giant game? Was it Ed Hockey League?
Yeah, it was Hercules. Yeah,
that's why the Giants lost.
It's a Hercules conspiracy, huh?
I can't stand Ed Hockey League. I can't stand Ed Hockey League.
What is it about him that you don't like? I've always wanted to ask you that.
He screws the teams I root for all the time.
I think the thing that annoys me, the
Chargers. He screwed the Chargers, and now he just screwed the Giants. Okay? Ed Hockey League sucks. I can't stand that son of a bitch. He's a candidate for a Rap Bastard of the Week, man.
Actually, the only thing that irritates me about Hockey League is that he has to do a dissertation for every single freaking call.
Ed, Hockey League, can you wear a tighter shirt, please?
Hey, he's got to show.
You should get.
He's got to show off his Jack LaLanne. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Jonathan, he should get flagged for wearing a tight shirt, man. That's disgusting, Ed Hockey League.
Yeah, no, he's trying to do his Jack LaLanne thing, dude. He's getting old. He needs to keep the muscles showing, kind of like Vince McMahon, you know?
I think he needs to stay back where he is as a lawyer and just do his thing during the offseason.
Yeah, he has his firm down in Phoenix, Arizona, downtown Phoenix.
That's right. Just be a lawyer and do your thing and stop being an officiator because you stink at it.
Well, you know,
Ed Hockey
when
League.
he announces his calls, it's like he's being a lawyer.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. He's screwed.
It's like he's
so many teams over by his stupid. Nope, that's not a catch. Nope, that's not a. Screw you, Ed Hockey League. Get the hell out of the. You know what? You and what the hell's his name? The NBA official in the what the hell? Joey Crawford. You and Joey Crawford, get the hell out of your leagues, will you? You sons of bitches. I hate both of you. Can't stand either one of you. Joey Crawford is 64, 65 years old, still refereeing game. Get the hell out of here. And Ed Hockey League wearing a goddamn shirt that's tighter than I don't know what, but unbelievable, dude. Could you wear a tighter shirt, Ed Hockey League?
That's his Jack LaLanne look. I keep telling you, man, you don't want to listen. He's doing his Jack LaLanne impersonation.
It's driving me nuts. Don't forget, coming up at 6:45 today, we got Greg Bell from the News Tribune talking Seattle Seahawks football. Hey, Furcon, I'm still trying to get you a Raiders writer in here. Try and say that 10 times.
Try to say it twice.
A Raiders writer. Trying to get a Raiders writer.
Okay, in other news, Sam Bradford, or Badford, as I like to call him.
See ya.
He's going to be missing a couple games due to the injuries he suffered yesterday at the hands of the Miami Dolphins.
Who's their backup over there? Clive Davis?
Marco Sanchez.
Oh, Marco Sanchez. Marco Polo.
Yeah, he came in yesterday and promptly threw 2 interceptions. And
that's how he plays quarterback, like that. Marco Polo.
That's how he quarterback.
Marco
right?
Polo.
He listens to the receiver saying Marco Polo.
That's how that was ridiculous, man. That was ridiculous.
That was insane, dude. Yeah, Sanchez isn't any better, Brett. I mean, it's awful. I think the Eagles should just go out and get Colin Kaepernick.
They should.
For that offense, that's what they need.
Can't do any worse.
That's what they already are doing worse.
That's right. They can't do any worse. Mark Sanchez is your backup quarterback. Oh, my God.
And by no means am I recommending anyone pick up Mark Sanchez for their fantasy football roster.
How many quarterbacks went down yesterday?
How many quarterbacks went down yesterday? Wow, that's a good question. I didn't take account. Well, it's
three, at least.
At least Manning.
Badford.
Badford went down.
Who else? And Landry Jones went down.
Well, yeah, but that was a good thing for the Steelers.
But they played their backup.
I think Ben paid somebody to do that.
How about that?
Oh, by the way, that backup happened to throw for a record 379 yards, I think.
The hell out of here.
The most ever by a backup.
The best thing about that game is when they got off that game and went to the Miami-Philadelphia game so I can watch that game instead.
That's right. You were stuck watching Johnny and
stuck watching that freaking Cleveland-Pittsburgh game.
Johnny and the Browns.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. Jonathan Manziel looks terrible. Terrible.
That's terrible.
Oh, my God. It was disgusting.
Oh,
he was making my... You know what? I was watching him play. Yes, he was making my point for me without me even saying a word.
Well, I watched the Red Zone channel, and I was watching bits and pieces of it. And, he didn't look like... Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
You know what he looked like? A rookie.
No,
That's what he looked like.
He looked like an SEC correspondent.
And you want to know something?
An analyst
between
for
him
the
looking
SEC.
like, watch this one. Between him looking like a rookie and Peyton Manning looking like Tim Tebow, I don't know what the hell I was watching yesterday. I don't know what I was watching.
What did you just say?
You heard me.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because on the other show, when I said this a few weeks ago, and I just said that his throws look kind of like Tim Tebow's. You're actually coming out and saying he looks like Tim Tebow now.
I'll tell you something. How many passing yards did he have yesterday? 35? How many interceptions did he have yesterday? 4? That's Tim Tebow-esque right there.
He had 4 interceptions and 5 completions.
Yeah, what is that all about? You're Peyton Manning, for Christ's sake.
Those are Tebow-esque numbers, though.
Those are Tebow-esque. Hey, Michael, welcome. Are you kidding me? Ed Hockey League should be freaking refereeing that game.
That was pretty crazy, dude. That was pretty crazy.
You got to be kidding me. Right? 3 quarterbacks went down yesterday, correct?
Yeah.
At least 3.
At least 3 that we know of. Yeah, we sure are, Michael.
Yeah, we are, Michael.
We're talking about Peyton Manning.
Are you kidding me?
The guy that broke the passing record and got benched on the same day.
That's great. That's awesome right there. I think that's fantastic, man.
Well, at least he got the 3 yards that he needed to break the record.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about the only yards he got all day long.
He killed one of my guys in my fantasy league.
Oh, my God. It was terrible.
The guy picked him up off waivers and put him into play, and he scored -2.25 points.
There you go.
Negative.
-2.25. -2.25 points. -2.25.
-2.25 points because he threw 4 interceptions.
Manning was 5 of 20 for 35 yards. Got sacked twice. Okay? You know what his quarterback rating is?
Like a 1?
0.0. 0.0. Peyton Manning, for Christ's sakes. Peyton Manning, for Christ's sakes. 0.0 quarterback rating. Holy freaking way to go, Peyton. You're the man. Are you kidding me? Really? Come on.
Yeah, well,
That's terrible.
he won't be starting this Sunday.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
There was 5 interceptions in that game yesterday. 5 interceptions in that game yesterday.
Negative is
All by Denver. All by Denver.
Did you see Michael's comment?
What?
He said negative is uphill now.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Good one, Michael.
Oh, I don't get it. I was watching that game. I thought for a second I was watching Tim Tebow on the field. What the hell's going on here?
Yep.
What is going on? Is Tim Tebow reincarnated in Peyton Manning's body?
I don't know, man. All I know is that the man is not looking anything close.
I'm just glad that wasn't. I'm glad that game was a Denver-Cleveland game and that happened. Because that would have been really pitiful.
Well, I would have made Scott happy.
Hey, Derek, how you doing? That is just ridiculous.
What's going on, Derek?
Ridiculous. I'm dumbfounded. I was forced to watch the Pittsburgh Cleveland game and watch that Johnny debacle.
And
then I was forced to the Johnny debacle. And then I was forced to watch the Kansas City game and watch the Peyton debacle.
Oh. Ouch.
So yeah, you know what I did instead of watching that crap? I took a freaking nap.
Well, yesterday that was in your case that was actually a smart move.
Oh,
yes, sir,
you know
Michael. Thank you for being Captain Obvious. Casey did handle the Broncos.
And you want to know something? When I woke up on my TV was the Giant Pat game. I was like, oh no.
As a matter of fact, the Detroit Lions looked better yesterday than the Denver Broncos.
Detroit Lions. First time in 24 years. They won in Green Bay. Did anybody pick the Lions?
Yeah, Robert C. Stern's daughter.
Well, Robert's got no choice but to pick underdogs now to try and win.
That didn't help him
get out of the cellar.
He didn't pick up any ground at all.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't. But can you believe that? For the first time in 24 years, the Lions win in Green Bay?
September of 1991.
Oh, my God.
That was the last time.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Lions fired everybody and beat Green Bay.
Go figure.
You're right, Michael.
Go figure.
How about that? Unbelievable. Nobody saw. I'm telling you. I think I won 5 games yesterday.
No, actually,
I lost
4.
I won 4
You're
games.
looking to win 5 tonight.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm adding that one on. Oops. Yeah, can you believe 4 games over the weekend? That's all I want. Holy freaking Toledo.
Yeah, and definitely, Michael, it was
scary.
Lambeau on top of all that.
That's scary.
That Detroit victory was
going
at
on,
Lambeau Field.
And I'm sure of it. I could, you know what? I'll bet $10 million on it that Skip Bayless had something to say about Mr. freaking Aaron Rodgers.
You know, he had plenty to say, but I didn't catch that segment. I will be looking back at that and getting back with you on those quotes tomorrow.
I'm almost positive he did.
I'm pretty sure he did. I was able to catch him in a couple of other segments that you're really going to enjoy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I you know what? Because Stephen A. Smith calls Aaron Rodgers a bad man, and I bet you dollars to donuts that Skip Bayless says Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. He's really bad right now.
No, he's no longer the bad man. He's just bad.
He's just bad. I can guarantee you he said something like that a lot.
Oh, no, he's been saying that the last 2 weeks.
So, and Stephen A. just had to sit there and take it.
Yeah, he did. But
then
again, so did Skip
when
he found out that the lowest scoring team in football yesterday was the Dallas Cowboys.
The lowest scoring football team. yesterday. Hey, Skip, how about them Cowboys, the lowest scoring team in football yesterday?
Well, you know what? He's going to be really
saying?
happy, though. He's going to be really happy, though.
You know why, right?
Because Romo's coming back.
That's right. That's right. Because Romo's coming back, and they're playing Miami.
You know what? I have Romo actually in one of these quotes, but I'm going to hold it off until we get to that particular game.
Okay, don't forget, coming up at 6:45, we have Greg Bell from the News Tribune up there in Seattle, talking Seattle football here with us on Sports World Radio. That'll be coming up pretty soon.
Okay, before we get to the first update of the day, let's go ahead and cover a couple of these other stories. The Patriots were victors yesterday at MetLife Stadium, and but only thing is that they suffered a significant loss when Julian Edelman broke his foot in that game and had surgery today to repair the break. So he's going to be out for a while. They don't think he's going to be gone the whole season, but you probably won't see him till probably around week 16, somewhere in that area. So, I mean, that kind of puts a crimp in Tom Brady's passing game now because Edelman's huge.
What, you mean the Giants hurt somebody?
Yeah, Edelman broke his foot.
See, that's what you happen. If you can't get to freaking Brady, you get to his guy.
Man, that's cruel, dude. Come on now.
Can't get to Brady, you get to his number one guy, break his leg.
Yeah.
Well, like that stays.
You know what? I'm not going to say.
Listen, you were born and raised in New York. Come on, that's the New York mentality. You can't get to the big man, you take out the next best thing.
I refuse to regress.
You know I'm right. Come on, Terrence. You agree with me, right, buddy?
I refuse to regress.
Yeah,
to my old New York ways.
Yeah, that means you agree with me. Don't give me none of your crap.
That's my political way of saying yes, I agree.
That's great.
Hey,
that's the way it is.
If you can't beat him, hurt him. If you can't beat him,
hurt him. I'm going to tell you a really quick story. When I was a young boy playing an interim basketball league on Saturday mornings, interim basketball league,
intramural.
We were playing against, we were intramural. We were playing against the biggest guy in the league, and he happened to be one of my friends. We were playing, and he's still one of my close friends today. He was huge, tall guy. And you always looked up at him, right? We were young kids. My dad was there. I says, "Hey, Dad," it was halftime. I says, "Hey, Dad, how are we going to beat this team with this guy?" My dad turned around to us and said, "Take him out, break his legs." So one of the guys undercut him and took him out. We ended up winning the game. Hey, all right. Got to take out the guy.
I think that leads us right into the first update there, sir.
I guess so. Hey, this update is brought to you by The Flipper. Head on over to flipperflipper.com and never, ever touch your toilet seat ever again. It's The Flipper, and it's at flipperflipper.com. Take it away, Mr. Big Elliot. I did it again. You did. I screwed it up. Take it away. I'm just going to call you Elliot because I got too many things going on in my head. Take it away, Elliot, with the first update of the day.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for butchering that again. Boys and girls, it is now 40 minutes past the 6 o'clock hour on this Monday, November 16, 2015. For Sports World Radio, I am the co-host, Elliot Biggie Lumba, bringing you the first SWR update of the day. In the NFL yesterday, in Baltimore, Jason Myers kicked a 53-yard field goal after Jacksonville got one final play on a face mask penalty with no time left, and the Jaguars ended their 13-game road losing streak Sunday with a 22-20 victory over the Baltimore Ravens. In Green Bay, Matthew Stafford threw for 2 touchdowns, and the Detroit Lions stopped a 24-game road losing streak against the Green Bay Packers when they held on for an 18-16 victory Sunday, despite a late blunder by Calvin Johnson. In Philadelphia, Ryan Tannehill threw a go-ahead 4-yard touchdown pass to Jarvis Landry, and the defense held on to give the Miami Dolphins a 29-team victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. In Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger came off the bench to throw for 379 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Pittsburgh Steelers overwhelmed the hapless Browns and Johnny Manziel 30-9. Roethlisberger began the game on the bench to rest his sprained left foot, but entered in the first quarter after Landry Jones went down with a left ankle injury. Roethlisberger completed 22 of 33 passes and was sacked just once as Pittsburgh won its second straight game. In St. Louis, Zach Miller caught 2 touchdown passes, and rookie Jeremy Langford also had 2 TDs, leading the Bears to a 37-13 victory over the St. Louis Rams. The Bears 4-5 improved to 3-1 on the road after their top offensive showing. In Tampa, Florida, Jameis Winston scored on a 1-yard quarterback keeper with 54 seconds remaining, giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a 10-6 victory that extended the Dallas Cowboys' longest losing streak since 1989 to 7 games. The number 1 overall draft pick shrugged off 2 interceptions, the first he'd thrown in a month, and benefited from a defensive holding call that wiped out his goal line fumble on the play before the rookie faked the handoff to Doug Martin and circled around right end all alone. In Nashville, Cam Newton completed his first 11 passes, the longest streak of his career, and undefeated Carolina shut out Tennessee in the second half of a 27-10 victory on Sunday. The Panthers 9-0 extend their league best winning streak to 13 games as Newton ran for a touchdown and passed for another score. In the nation's capital, Kirk Cousins threw for a career-high 4 touchdowns, each one longer than any scoring pass he'd completed all season, to lead the Washington Redskins past the New Orleans Saints 47-14. Cousins went 20 for 25 for 324 yards, 0 interceptions, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3, connecting for TDs of 78 yards to Matt Jones, 16 and 8 yards to Jordan Reed, and 11 yards to Jamison Crowder. In Oakland, Adrian Peterson ran for 203 yards and a touchdown in his record-tying 6th career 200-yard game. Cordarrelle Patterson returned a kick 97 yards for a score, and the Minnesota Vikings took over sole possession of first place in the NFC North by defeating the Oakland Raiders 30-14 on Sunday. Teddy Bridgewater threw a touchdown pass, and the Vikings, now 7-2, held the Raiders' potent offense in check for their 5th straight win. Minnesota moved the game ahead of Green Bay in the division, heading into next week's showdown at home with the Packers. In East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Stefan Gostkowski's 54-yard field goal with 1 second remaining Sunday kept the New England Patriots unbeaten with a 27-26 victory over the New York Giants after Josh Brown made his 4th field goal of the game with 1:47 remaining. Tom Brady drove the Patriots 9-0, 44 yards, converting the 4th and 10 on the series. Gostkowski, the NFL's leading scorer the last 3 seasons, sent his winning kick soaring through the uprights at that time. And then finally, in Seattle, Carson Palmer threw for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns. Andre Ellington had a 48-yard touchdown run with 1:58 remaining, and the Arizona Cardinals moved 3 games ahead in the NFC West with a wild 39-32 victory over the Seattle Seahawks last night. Palmer helped the Cardinals 7-2 build a 19-0 lead and 22-7 at halftime, only to watch Seattle rally and take a 29-25 lead early in the 4th quarter on Bobby Wagner's 22-yard fumble return that left Century Field shaking. This update was brought to you by the Flipper. Now, just imagine, folks, never having to touch your toilet seat with either of your hands ever again. Well, that's exactly what you'll have when you get your hands on the Flipper. For more information on this must-own sanitary device and to get one of your own, visit flipperflipper.com. Once again, that's flipperflipper.com. Again, I am your co-host, Elliot Biggie Lumba, on the show that delivers real sports talk for real sports fans. That does it for this first update of the day. Joining Jeff and I next will be Greg Bell, writer for the Seattle News Tribune, here to talk some Seattle Seahawks football. Now let's get back over to you, Jeff, for more of Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. We do the show each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. If you live in the Central, figure it out for yourself. Greg, I know you're listening to us right now. I believe he's one of the plus ones. Greg, do me a favor. Make sure you're signed into Blab. If you're not signed in, then do me a favor and go over to the top left, hit the thing up there, the Blab thing up there, and sign out and sign in with your Twitter name. Use your Twitter handle to sign in, and then you can come on and open up the seat. And I believe there he is right there. Boom. So you could just click on the seat, the circle, and we'll bring you on in whenever you're ready. Here he comes. All right. Greg Bell joining us from the News Tribune out there in Seattle, talking Seattle Seahawks football.
How's it going, guys?
Greg, how you doing, buddy?
Greg, what's up?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us here on Blab. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, how about this platform? Your first
Yes,
time
it
on
is.
here?
Yeah,
Pretty
it
neat,
worked.
huh?
You guys did a good job with this. It's homemade?
No, it's this is a new platform we jumped on about last month. It just came out. It's only been online for several months now, and we jumped on it really quick because we like to be able to see the folks that come on our show.
New dimension for a writer. Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what? All the people that are going to be coming in now, all they got to do is go up to your name at the top, right? Click the little blue Tweety bird there, and they can follow you on Twitter now automatically just like that. So if you guys want to follow Greg Bell on Twitter and get all your Seattle Seahawks information right from Greg, go up to his profile picture up there and click on his little blue icon, click on the Tweety bird and follow Greg Bell.
Better get it while it's relevant. They're 4-5.
That's right. So we got Greg Bell joining us here talking Seattle Seahawks football. Thank you so much. So apropos to have you here today since of the game last night, your opinion of the game last night.
Well, the defense got them in the lead, and then the defense gave it away at the last quarter. It's the 5th time in 5 losses they've given up a fourth quarter lead. It's 7 times in the last 11 games, going back to the NFC title game in which they had to win in overtime against Green Bay, that they have given up a fourth quarter lead. This is supposed to be the number 1 ranked defense in the league the last 2 years. And when you grab a lead in the fourth quarter, no matter who it's against, if it's Brett Favre, if it's Tom Brady, and if it's Carson Palmer, you, especially on your home field, you have to win those games. And when you don't, you end up where you're at, 4-5. And yeah, 4-5, and they're 2 games out of a playoff spot as they're sitting right now. That's just a wild card. 3 games behind for the division. The Cardinals have the division locked up unless Ryan Lindley happens to them again.
Right. Tough game last night. I mean, I was not expecting Arizona to go in there and do what they did. What's going on with Sherman in the defense?
Well, it's a couple things. They are really dependent on the pass rush. And when Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett get home, as they have often this season, that secondary is at its best. They can play aggressive, up on the line, bumping at the line of scrimmage. Like any defense, like any secondary, if they have to cover longer and they don't have the pass rush, then they play a lot of cover 2, cover 3 zones that 15, 20 yards down the field, there are gaps. And that's what happened late in the game last night. Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, those guys started finding the 15 to 20-yard routes when Bennett and Averill didn't get home. You saw what happened when Bennett and Averill did get home. They got 2 sack fumbles near the goal line and turned the game around. And that's kind of where the Seahawks defense is right now. When they get pressure, they get to the quarterback, they succeed. And when they don't, they haven't covered consistently all year. Cincinnati beat them because of the same plays that Arizona made over the middle last night, especially with tight ends down the seam. That's been a problem since the opener at St. Louis. Really, guys, though, the root cause of this whole season being 4-5, and the reason why the teams have lost is because even while the defense has given up leads, the offense has been just terrible, especially on 3rd down and in the red zone. And that's because I think the nation finally got to see last night. Every NFL city guys complains their offensive line is bad, just about everyone. Seattle's is probably the worst in the league. I think everyone saw that last night.
Elliot, you got a question?
Yeah, just touching on that offense that you just spoke of, what seems to be the issue? I mean, because they were a pretty streamlined offense when Russell Wilson was doing his thing. Marshawn Lynch, I know he's been injured a lot lately. Which isn't a surprise after all the punishment he's been put through over the last few years. What is it that's stalling their offense now that wasn't happening before?
Well, even the last 2 years when they made the playoffs, guys, they made the Super Bowl, I should say, they won despite their offensive line. Russell Wilson was able to get away, make his improvisational plays. It's really sandlot football, and he's running, he's throwing on the run. Guys are breaking off routes. That's not happening as often because the rush has gotten to him even sooner than it had before. And even bigger than that, they aren't run blocking consistently. Marshawn Lynch doesn't need a lot of run blocking, but he needs some. Any back needs some. And I think you saw last night he was running through guys at the line of scrimmage to get even 2 and 3 yards. The offensive line had 7 penalties last night alone. They had 4 1st and 20s on the first. It was 1st and 20 or 1st and 25 on 4 of the first 4 drives of the game. That's how they fell behind 19-0. Most teams don't have 1st and 20 maybe 4 times in a month. They had 4 and 4 drives last night because of offensive holding penalties. This team, guys, for years has gotten away with not drafting top offensive linemen. They've whiffed on a couple top draft picks. They've told Tom Cable, their offensive line coach, hey, we got to save money somewhere. We're going to pay the Legion of Boom. We're going to pay Russell Wilson. We're going to pay Marshawn Lynch. We got to save money somewhere. It's going to be on the offensive line. Make these undrafted college defensive tackles and turn them into starting NFL linemen, please, Tom Cable, offensive line coach. Cable says, aye, sir, does it. It worked for 2 years at a passable level. It's not worked at all now, and this has caught up to them 2 or 3 years coming for this offensive line to ruin not only the offense but the entire team. They couldn't get into the game plan last night. Honestly, they were just playing from behind 19-0 and doing what Seahawks don't normally do, which is throw the football a lot more than they want to. Russell Wilson ended up 14 for 32. It's maybe simplistic to say, but all of that goes back to they don't block anybody consistently.
Joining us on Sports World Radio, Greg Bell from the News Tribune out there in Seattle talking Seahawks football. Seems to me the Coach Carroll's kind of lost the team a little bit. Is that coming across to Seattle fans as well or no?
I don't know, lost the team. I will say they were surprisingly not ready to play the beginning of that game last night. They had a week off. They had a bye before it. So did Arizona. But to fall behind 19-0 at home and have as many penalties as they had in the first half didn't speak to their preparation and didn't seem like they were ready to go. Arizona did exactly what Arizona was supposed to do. They blitzed the heck out of them. They threw the ball deep. They didn't get their running game going with Chris Johnson like Chris Johnson had been running. He was number 3 rusher in the league entering last night. That didn't go as according to plan. Everything else is what Seattle expected. They didn't look prepared at the start of the game. So you can say that the coaching the preparation may not. Carroll today said, well, wait a minute, our game plan, we didn't even get into it because it was 1st and 20 so often. So you don't even know how we prepared because you never got to see our preparation put to use. The players themselves love Pete Carroll for things like last week. There was a bye. Most NFL teams practice 2 or 3 times on their bye week. The CBA mandates the minimum 4 consecutive days off, and most teams take the 4 consecutive days off around that off weekend. Well, Pete Carroll gave them 7 days off. They came back from the win at Dallas. They had a film session on Monday, and he said, see you next Monday. Go to wherever you want. Just show up next Monday. And players love that stuff. And he's a player's coach, and the music's blaring, and guys can be their own free spirit personalities. In times like this, when there are 4 and 5 teams struggling to get back to playoffs, is when that kind of cachet and bank pays off for Pete Carroll. And I think that's why you don't see him losing his players because of the devotion he earns on things like 7-day buys.
We got a question from one of our chatters in the room. Seeing how the season is going, do we expect to see Pete Carroll as coach next year if they don't pick up their play?
Well, he's got 3 more years on his contract after this one. He's one of the highest paid annually in the league. We don't know exactly. They haven't pinned down exactly how much he's making, but it's probably we think it's between $7 and $8 million a year in the Belichick range. So the thought up here is he will probably make this his last job. He's 63, 64 years old. Mm-hmm. But the one job that he may take if it comes open in the NFL, and you guys could probably guess it, is if Los Angeles gets a team again, which it looks like it's going to happen.
Right.
And the current ownership of the 2 teams look like they're going to go to Los Angeles, the Chargers and the Raiders, are pretty entrenched in their coaches, or at least they have been. And Mark Davis is still new enough owning the Raiders that you wouldn't think him and Reggie McKenzie would make a move so soon after just hiring Jack Del Rio. So maybe those coaching staffs are set now, but if there are teams entrenched in LA and they finally get that market back, and especially if there's 2 of them, that could be his swan song team to ride back. He's still got a lot of ties to Los Angeles, homes down there, philanthropic organizations, a better LA. So he's still tied to Southern California. He's already ruled out publicly that he doesn't have any interest in the USC job. Don't even mention him at the USC job, but it's a little early after 2 consecutive Super Bowl appearances to say he wouldn't want to coach here next season. Put it this way, guys, he'll be here as long as he wants to be. The ownership has given him carte blanche. He's the executive vice president of personnel. He actually okays the general manager's moves here. Ultimately, the final personnel say in Seattle is Pete Carroll's, and not too many head coaches in the league have that power.
Right. So why would you really want to go anywhere else then?
Exactly. Unless, the only thing I could see is if a Los Angeles team gave him an ownership stake. And that's something that would entice him at the end of his career if he had a piece of an ownership of the team.
Right. If you're just joining us, we have Greg Bell from the News Tribune talking Seattle Seahawks football here on Sports World Radio. Greg, what does Seattle need to do to get out of this funk that they are in?
Like I said, they got to block somebody. They got to block anybody. If I were playing Seattle and seeing them as I have the last few years, I would blitz on every down. And I don't even care what my defensive tendencies were before coming into the game. The only reason Seattle beat Dallas, didn't give up any sacks for the first time since the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago against Denver, was because Dallas blitzed 9% of the time. That's a mistake. That's 90% less of the time than you should be blitzing against the Seahawks. You should blitz them on every down because they've yet to prove since the opener in St. Louis they can block anyone off the edge. They have massive, massive pass protection problems. So they've got to fix something at least they may have to keep both backs in and make Marshawn Lynch a pass blocker on third down. Jimmy Graham's not here to be a blocking tight end, so they may have to bring Luke Wilson and keep him in as a blocking tight end. They just need to pass block, and they need to have some kind of pass protection so it can at least get into the game plan. And they spend 6 days working on a plan they can't even employ because it's 1st and 25. I think first and foremost, they need to block somebody. Their schedule gets easier. They have a semi-bye this week against San Francisco at home. I know Blaine Gabbert got a win last week, but I can't see Blaine Gabbert coming in here and beating the Seahawks. And then they have Pittsburgh. They have Pittsburgh here on Thanksgiving weekend, which, I know Ben Roethlisberger can fling it, and he's on a sore foot. But Le'Veon Bell not being there makes Seattle's defense pretty dangerous going against Pittsburgh in the pass rush perspective. They don't have to honor too much of the run game if Le'Veon Bell is not running the ball. So this could be a 6-5 team going to Minnesota at the start of December. Then they go to Baltimore. Then they come back home. So the schedule is much, much easier than it was in the first half. I'm not saying that they're well on their way to a rally here. They've got to pass block and just block somebody first before they can even beat anybody.
You mentioned Jimmy Graham. How come they're not using him more?
Well, you saw last night he dropped 3 passes. They tried to get him the ball, and he dropped passes. He dropped one. Well, he didn't quite drop one in the end zone. It might have been deflected, but they've given him chances. They've targeted him double-digit times sometimes, which for a Seattle offense is a lot. They don't pass a whole lot usually. So if he's getting 10 targets in a game, I think they're doing just enough. Again, I hate to keep parking the same issue, but if you're not pass blocking, your tight end can't take 4 steps down the field before the quarterback has to run out of the pocket. And that's happened more games than not, is that Russell Wilson has looked for him, and he has to abandon his look for the pass and start scrambling while Graham has still got his back to the line of scrimmage. He hasn't even made his cut yet because 3 or 4 steps into his cut, Wilson's already under pressure. And that's happened at least half the time that they've tried to pass this season. I really think that has affected Jimmy Graham and the offense, and they have not yet used him the way that they intended to. It looks worse because they traded 2-time Pro Bowl center Max Unger to get him, and their offensive line is in shambles. So it looks like it was a terrible trade for them. People forget Max Unger was hurt 10 games last year, and he was hurt about half the time the last 3 seasons. I don't think that's the only reason the offensive line is bad. I think it's because they have undrafted college defensive tackles in there.
Personnel.
And that's a systemic failure to, okay, like I said before, this is our system. We're going to pay our money here, 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 and here. And, whatever's left is a couple dimes and quarters under the couch so we can pay our offensive linemen. So let's go do that and make them starters, and it's caught up to them.
It's finally caught up to him. If you're joining us here on Sportsworld Radio, Greg Bell from the News Tribune joining us talking Seattle Seahawks football. You mentioned their schedule is kind of easy towards the end. Do you think they can make the playoffs?
I think they can, and what helps them is there is nobody between the current wild card team, 6-3 Atlanta, 6-3 Green Bay, and the block of 4 and 5 teams that they're now in. There's not a 5-4 team they'd have to leap over. There really are just 2 games out of a playoff spot. They've lost to Green Bay already, so they would lose a tiebreaker if they end up the last playoff spot tied with them. But I don't think anyone at this moment thinks Atlanta's about ready to go on some kind of run either. 9-7 might get a 6th seed in the playoffs, and we've seen in other years that once you get in the playoffs, wildcard teams have made the Super Bowl a lot more recently than before. I'm not saying this team's primed for that, but it wouldn't shock me if they got in as a 6th seed as a wild card. They'll probably take at least 9, I would say 10 wins to do that. And with the schedule they have coming up, 5-1 is possible, but they've got a lot of work to do on offense to get there.
Would that one be against the Arizona Cardinals on the last game of the season?
It could be, and maybe the best thing that'll happen to Seahawks is that the Cardinals will have clinched by then, and Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald wear baseball caps that day. And I'm not saying the Cardinals would just let that go. There's too much of a rivalry in the West to just let that game go by. But if they've already got their division and maybe even home field clinched, well, maybe not home field the way Carolina's
I
playing.
think seeding, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not a seeding issue and they're already locked into a seed, that could become a game the Seahawks could win more than if they had won last night, that game might have been for the NFC West title, but because they've lost that now, I don't think that game's going to mean much to the Cardinals. It could mean everything to the Seahawks.
Yeah. If they don't make the playoffs, I know we mentioned it earlier, they don't make the playoffs, Pete Carroll's job's really not up for discussion. He's got it as long as he wants.
Yeah, and that's
right?
because of the power they've given him and the money. If you give your coach the executive vice president in charge of personnel with say over the GM, you don't make decisions after one non-playoff season to get rid of that system. That was the deal that got him from USC to give him that power, and that's what clinched it for Carroll to get here from USC in 2010. He's like, oh, wait a minute, NFL team's going to give me power over all personnel, even power over the general manager. Sign me up, and that's what got him here. And oh, by the way, here's $6-7 million a year to do it.
Hey, Greg, neither one of us have ever had a chance to sit in CenturyLink Field. How loud is it in that place?
Well, you don't need these. You probably need these. It's loud. It's a sealed press box with just a little window at the bottom. It's really loud, though. I mean, I'm sure you've seen on television, it's a cantilevered roof. That's the Northwest thing because of all the rain here. People are going to pay $95 face value a ticket. They don't want to get soaked for the whole game. So they have a roof over their heads, basically. But what that acts is a noise catch. And when the noise bounces up off that steel roof, it bounces right back down on the field. There's all kinds of theories as to why it's so loud here. The Giants, I know when I was covering this team 10 years ago, when they first moved into New Park, the Giants caught them and turned them into the NFL for turning their sideline speakers toward the field and piping in artificial crowd noise. And they got warned about that. I don't know if you guys remember that story. It was right around the Super Bowl years of 2005 and 6. And they got caught doing that, and they had to turn their speakers away from the field to show that, okay, we're not going to bring noise under the speaker. That was a Tom Coughlin special that caught that. Now they say it's all genuine. It's 69,000 people screaming. It is a very fervent fan base. And the fact that they finally won their first Super Bowl 2 years ago after 38 years in existence has only heightened that noise.
Does the stadium actually reverberate?
It did. It did last night. I know you don't believe that, but I even tweeted it. I tweeted it during the game. It was like a mini earthquake. I used to live in the Bay Area, so I've lived through earthquakes, and that's what it felt like. It was a wavy motion in the press box like this. After Bobby Wagner returned that fumble, the second sack fumble for Carson Palmer, and gave them the lead, the press box did shake. And that happens 2 or 3 times a year, that the stadium does shake from everyone stomping and yelling and cheering. And it's not exactly a settling feeling when your press box is shaking under you, but it is a unique experience. It is.
No, it's not.
So
go ahead.
So playoff time is a tough time for you in the box, huh?
It's not that bad. I used to cover the Washington Huskies at Old Husky Stadium, and you had to go walk on a catwalk out to the edge overlooking the field, and the press box was actually about 150 feet ahead of the grandstand. If you can picture that, it is a catbird. It was attached to the underside of the roof. So you were looking straight down at the field to watch the game like this. You had to actually, on the edge of your seat, look down. That was attached to the roof. So when it rained hard and the wind blew, you actually sweating writers from LSU and Nebraska who might have never been there before. They're grabbing onto the, oh my God, this place is shaking. Yeah, it was a trip. And it's right on Lake Washington, rain, wind. So compared to that, this is pretty hunky dory. It's like being in
You've been to Arrowhead Stadium, right?
Oh, I have.
That place gets rocking. I lived out there for 18 months, and I've been in the press box when that place gets shaken. It's not a fun thing.
They've kind of ruined it for the press box. They put it now up at the top. When I covered I used to be the Raiders beat writer for the Sacramento Bee, and we went to the Arrowhead had the press box down low, great down low and sideline, but you couldn't get the shaking feeling. And now that it's at the top of the stadium, it does shake.
Oh boy, is it shaking?
That is a loud place as well.
Okay, so you've been to both places. Obviously, you think that Seattle's louder than KC, right?
I do. I do only because I guess the simplest way to put it is Seattle's been more successful in recent years going to Super Bowls and Kansas City hasn't. But that's not to say Kansas City's not. We were there last December when the Chiefs beat the Seahawks, and it was every bit as loud as Seattle. I wouldn't say it's louder. It's probably as loud.
I've been there when that place is rocking. That's one place I want to go to up there with Seattle. I want to go, absorb all of that because I've absorbed the Kansas City feeling. So now I want to absorb that Seattle feeling.
My advice is to come in September when the sun's still out. If you wait till October and November, man, it's dark.
Brutal.
It's dark.
Well, especially for somebody who lives in San Diego. Yeah,
it's real dark. It is real wet. It is un-San Diego up here starting about late October.
It is.
Not too much on Florida, though, right?
No, I mean, Florida gets the rain, but it's not 40-degree rain. So
that's true. That's true.
No, it's funny. The weather forecast in Seattle starting about in October has said it should rain until about April. Not Monday. They don't say Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. They just say April or March.
Wow. That's
funny. Man.
That's great.
Last night, actually, we were surprised it was dry. That was the first time in about 15 days that it hadn't rained. And we're talking 2 or 3 inches of rain 2 days before that.
Wow. Ellie, you got any more questions for Greg?
I'm good, man. Hey, Greg, appreciate you being on here, man.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Hope to see you again.
Thank you so
anytime.
Much. And before you go, Greg, tell everybody how they can follow you on Twitter.
Hey, thanks. I got the G-Bell Seattle. Look, I can maybe put it right there.
Yeah.
G-Bell Seattle, at G-Bell Seattle, or on the web at thenewstribune.com. We'll see if the Seahawks have a push in them here and get to the playoffs.
And you can go up to his profile picture up there and click on the little blue bird, and you can follow him on Twitter that way as well. Hey, Greg, I hope we can get you back sometime during the season before it ends again.
Yes, sir. Anytime. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, Greg. We really appreciate it. Take care, pal. There goes our buddy Greg Bell from the News Tribune talking Seattle Seahawks football here on Sports World Radio. All right, which game you want to go to next, my friend?
Well, let's go ahead and start right from the beginning since we covered the end already.
That's kind of true, huh? Let's go right to the beginning then.
There you go. Okay, first game up, Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Baltimore Ravens.
How the heck did something like Baltimore losing to Jacksonville happen? And where the hell is Morgan to come in here and give me the Bortles pain in the ass rant?
Yeah, is Morgan even here?
I have no idea. Where the hell is that son of a bitch?
I would expect him to be here to do a little gloating.
I would think so, wouldn't you? I would think so. I sure as heck would think so.
Because you know how, well, maybe because he can't make up for it when he has to talk about Johnny Manziel.
Well, listen, if he talks about Johnny Manziel, he's got really nothing to say. I got stuck watching that stinking game yesterday. Johnny Manziel looked like a freaking college football player, not an NFL player. Why is Jonathan Football Manziel playing? He stinks. He was terrible. Terrible.
Now, we talked about this earlier, and I'm sure you remember when I mentioned it, that NFL spokesperson Michael Signoro confirmed that the officials in that game failed to flag the Jaguars for a forced-start penalty that would have wiped out an eventual game-winning 53-yard field goal.
That's not the only game that the damn referees screwed up yesterday either. So
they were screwing up all over the place.
I think the referees need to go back to school because they don't do anything in the offseason. I think they need to do something in the offseason for Jiminy Cricket's sakes.
The thing is that had they flagged the Jaguars for a false start, the requisite 10-second runoff would have occurred, and the game would have ended in Baltimore's favor.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know something really quick? Sherry Leak, the character lady, is in the house. She does some great work. I've watched her on Blab before, doing some making characters for people. Yeah, she makes characters for people, and she does it live. You watch her doing it right on Blab. It's freaking awesome.
What does she use? Photoshop? She use Photoshop?
I don't know what she's doing, but Sherry, she's rocking it, man.
Right on, Sherry.
Rocking it. You guys need characters? Hook up with Sherry. She's awesome. Check her out.
Yeah, I need to check her out.
I was watching her do it one night. I was sitting there just watching her go to town on it. I was like, Check her out, man.
I ain't reached the caricature level yet, so I might need to have a little powwow with Sherry down the road.
She was awesome. She was awesome. Hey, thanks for everybody hanging out here with us here on Blab. We really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate you guys listening to Sports World Radio. We do this show every single Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. If you happen to live somewhere else, figure it out for yourself because I don't.
We don't do that here.
No, I don't. All right, what do you got for
Next
me
game
next,
up.
buddy?
Next game up.
Go for it, pal.
The Green Bay Packers lose to the Detroit Lions
Detroit
at
Lions.
Lambeau Field for their
First
third
time.
straight defeat at the hands of Detroit.
First time in 24 years the Detroit Lions win in Green Bay. Holy Toledo.
And this even after Calvin Johnson tried to give them the game at the end.
Wow. Can you
You know what that means? Let me explain that. Calvin Johnson was on the hands team to guard against the onside kick.
Yeah. Oops.
After Green Bay missed the 2-point conversion to tie the game.
And what happened?
And he goes up for the ball to catch it, and for some reason it went through his hand, hit him in the shoulder, and popped away, and Green Bay recovered.
Butterfinger boy.
So as much as they tried to give away the game, the Detroit Lions managed to hang on and defeat
Stuart.
I don't know, pretty scary looking Green Bay Packers these days.
Hey, let's say hello to some people in here. Hey, Stuart. Yeah. Hey, Hannah. We got Mafia hanging out in here. Of course, Brett's always in here hanging out with us. Karen hanging out. Thank you. Omar is in here with us. Thank you. Natural Mixologist. Wow, I could use a beer right now. Cindy is here hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Who else is here hanging out with us?
Terrence is in the house.
Terrence is here. Pink's here. Mr. Wonderful just showed up. Who else is here with us? Jason's here. Of
Mr.
course,
Wonderful.
We got Brandy's here.
Is Paul Orndorff in the house?
Character lady Sherry's here. She does some great characters. Get hooked up with her. Mr. Big C is in the house, or Mr. C. John Prado, thank you so much for hanging out. Inky is here with us as well. And Sherry's here with us. And all you other people that are hanging out. Michael's here with us. And, of course, the Whiskey Wolves. Oh, I like that, too, the Whiskey Wolves. And for all the new people that just jumped on in, Allison and the K and Carlton and all you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Sports World Radio. Done
Absolutely.
Every Monday through
Friday,
6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. If you live somewhere else, just you guys can figure it out. I know you can. I know you can do it.
Yeah, you guys are awesome for being here because, once again, as I always say, without you, there is no us.
That's right. What do you got for me? What's our next game?
Next up, another one of the perplexing games from yesterday. The Miami Dolphins defeating the Philadelphia Eagles 20-19 in Philadelphia.
Badford.
Philadelphia lost Sam Badford to a shoulder injury yesterday. And now Mark Sanchez came in, promptly threw a couple of interceptions.
Marco.
Doing his Marco Polo routine.
Marco.
And Miami went on and held on for a 20-19 victory. To say that game was ugly is a major understatement. When Marco Polo Sanchez came in.
Marco.
I guess the receivers weren't screaming loud enough.
They weren't screaming Polo loud enough because he sure as hell didn't hear him yesterday. Holy freaking Toledo, Batman. Are you kidding me? That was ridiculous. You know that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I keep saying Philadelphia should try and go out and get Colin Kaepernick from the 49ers because he would fit that offense perfect.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. They wouldn't be playing Marco Polo no more with Sanchez.
Marco Polo Sanchez?
They wouldn't play. You know what? Perfect. Marco Polo Sanchez. That's his new name here on Sports World Radio. Beautiful.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. Marco Polo Sanchez.
Marco Polo Sanchez in the house.
I'm surprised whatchamacallit hasn't come up with that yet. Chris Berman.
Chris Berman?
What's the matter with you, Berman? That's so obvious right there. Marco Polo Sanchez. That's it.
If Chris Berman starts saying that, I would be humbled.
Hey, listen. ESPN steals our crap all the time anyway. What's the difference?
Well, what the hell, right? Let's give him some more to steal.
I've been saying stuff on this show for 10 years. I'm just hearing those people on ESPN saying it now. Stop listening to my show and stealing my crap. You rat bastards.
All right, next up, another you know what? I'd like to apologize on behalf of the NFL and whatever contracts they have with the TV stations and whatnot for subjecting you to have to watch Johnny Manziel and the Cleveland Browns play in Pittsburgh.
The only good thing about that yesterday, okay, because I was forced to watch the Pittsburgh Cleveland game. The only good thing about that yesterday is when they changed it to the Philly-Miami game. That was the only good thing about that.
That was the highlight of the game.
Yeah.
Huh?
In fact, listen, I was forced to watch Jonathan Football Manziel and Landry Jones before the backup quarterback Ben Roethlisberger came in and took over the game. Okay,
the record-setting backup quarterback.
Okay, Jonathan Manziel football, and I call him that because he has not deserved Johnny.
He hasn't deserved the coolness of Johnny.
Correct. So he's Jonathan Manziel. Jonathan Football Manziel looked like a rookie in yesterday's game. Looked pitiful. What the hell is that all about? Jonathan, no. I think, you know what? You know where you're going to be in the next couple of years, Mr. Jonathan Football Manziel? You're going to be calling football for the SEC network sitting next to Tim Tebow. That's what you're going to be doing.
You know,
because that's the only thing you're going to be good at, because you look like a college football player who didn't know what the hell was going on yesterday.
The highlight of the game for me was when Landry Jones went down, because I know that would bring Ben Roethlisberger into the game, and then Antonio Brown would give me a boatload of fantasy points, which he did, by the way. He gave me over 37 points. And speaking of fantasy,
did Roethlisberger?
Don't forget, folks, tomorrow night here on Sportsworldradio, we will have senior writer Derek Laughlin of Fantasy Football Maniacs, that's with an X.com, on the show to answer any and all fantasy football questions.
6:45 tomorrow, boys and girls.
Next game up.
That's right. We're rocking it here on Blab. We're rocking it here on Blab. Right there. There's Blab. Right there.
Next game up.
That's right.
Are the Chicago Bears for real or what? They went in St. Louis yesterday and manhandled the St. Louis Cardinals, the St. Louis Rams.
I don't know. But I do know that I lost more games than I won yesterday.
You actually lost a lot more games than you won yesterday.
Yeah, I think I doubled it.
Yeah, you are currently 4-9.
Wins, right? Yeah, great.
For the week.
That's beautiful. Way to pick them. Way to pick them. Way to go.
I'm not much. Hey, you know what? I'm not much better at 7-6.
I would have been better off flipping a coin.
You probably would have.
I would have been better off flipping
because
my
you know
coin
what?
On Saturday
Robert
night.
C. Stern's daughter is doing better than you right now.
Great. And what'd she do? Pick the teams by the colors? Great. Wonderbar. Just wonderbar.
You're getting beat out by a 10-year-old right now.
Beautiful. Yeah, great. Wonderful. A sports guy who talks sports every day, 2 hours a day, is getting beat by a 10-year-old. That's awesome.
Who probably knows nothing about football either.
Exactly. She picked the teams by the color. Hey,
just
Juliet,
a little history.
Robert
C. Stern, who is on the other show that I am a co-host on, Pigskin Pick'em on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 10:45, all Eastern. His daughter's birthday was on Sunday, and so he wasn't on the show, but he sent in his picks, which he allowed his 10-year-old daughter to make for him. At this point in time, his 10-year-old daughter has 6 wins, and Jeff has 4.
Yay!
And if all stays the way it should and Cincinnati wins tonight, she will have 7 wins, and Jeff will have 5.
Woo! That's me. Yay!
Yeah,
Welcome,
she beat Terrence too. Don't escape Terrence because you only got 5.
Welcome, Kyle.
Okay.
Hey, tough. Who cares? Okay, that's okay. Good thing I had a double-digit lead in my freaking fantasy football.
In the other one, yeah. Good thing for you.
The one that really counts.
But anyway, like I said, the Chicago Bears went into St. Louis and demolished the Rams, so much so that now the Rams' new starting quarterback is Case Keenum.
How the hell does something like that happen?
Chicago might be for real.
You know, how does
Now,
something like that
think
happen?
of this. Chicago and Minnesota right now are better teams on the field than the Green Bay Packers.
That's
Who
ridiculous.
would have thought that at the beginning of the
How did the stinking Packers lose to Detroit and Green Bay? That hasn't happened in 24 years. How the hell has that happened yesterday? Huh? First time in 24
Good
years.
evening, Rhea.
Detroit wins. And
Pleasure
Green
to
Bay.
have you.
Hey, Rhea, how you doing? Guys, got any questions you want to talk sports with us? Hop in the seat.
Absolutely.
It's
Seat is
open.
open for anyone to join in. And
How the hell
Holla
did
at
that
us.
happen? Stinky cheese. What did Aaron Rodgers eat bear cheese the other night? Saturday night
I don't
before
know.
the game? He's been playing really bad.
I think
What's
the-
going on in Denver?
I think
what's going on in Denver? What's going on in Green Bay? What's going on in Seattle? What the hell's going on in freaking New Orleans? Losing to freaking what the hell's going on
Oh,
here?
no. New Orleans, we'll get to that here in a second, okay?
I
Let's
don't
roll
know.
on to the next game. Okay. We're looking at the Dallas Cowboys going down to
The team that
Tampa
scored
Bay
8 points
and
this week.
losing to the Buccaneers. Final score there was 10-6.
That's right. Hey, Dallas fans, don't think that that's going to be your last loss.
Let's
either.
look at that scenario. What happened there? I mean, Tampa Bay's driving. Jameis Winston is heading for the end zone. Okay.
Mhm.
And he gets hit and there's a fumble.
I like that.
Okay. There was a penalty on the play that caused the ball to go back to Tampa
Mm-hmm.
after they had recovered it after the Cowboys recovered in the end zone. They had to give the ball back to Tampa on the 1 yard line, which Jameis Winston promptly did a end around and was basically all by himself because he fooled the entire Dallas defense, which isn't hard to do. But
No,
in this particular
on.
case, there was
you can
nobody
do
there.
that. You could fool
10-6,
it. You could fool it.
which at this point, because Houston hasn't
Two
played
field
yet,
goals.
currently the Cowboys are the
Two field
lowest
goals?
scoring team in the NFL this week.
2 field
Two
goals.
field
right?
goals.
Way to go, Matt.
So
Castle.
basically, it was Tampa Bay 10, Dan Bailey 6.
way to go, Matt Castle.
Well, those days are
Woo!
over because
So, okay, let me ask you a question. Tony Romo comes back this week. Which quarterback they let go? Castle or Whedon? Yeah?
yeah,
You think so? They're gonna let the weed.
no, they got to get off the weed. And
They're gonna get off the weed, huh? They're
actually, you
gonna
know
let him
what?
go,
They
right?
might
Keep
let Castle go. 'Cause I think Castle might be more money.
Castle makes more money than the
Yeah,
weed.
and
man.
Castle really didn't come in and do anything
Hey, Christine.
to say that he should have a job over Brandon Whedon anyway.
Correct. Hey, Christine. Correct.
You know.
I agree with you there. Hey, Brian. I agree with you there.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's get on to the next game, which was the Carolina Panthers, undefeated going in, undefeated coming out. Carolina 27,
Really?
the Tennessee Titans 10. Yeah.
Really? What the hell's going on with that? You know? What the heck is that all about? That game threw me. You know something? There was not a game yesterday that didn't throw me for a loop. Even the Giant game threw me for a loop because I had a chance to actually win, which I didn't think was possible. But a lot of those games yesterday kind of threw me for a loop, man. You know, the St. Louis game, even the Pittsburgh game threw me for a loop because Landry Jones goes out, backup Ben comes in and does his thing and plays like he's the starter. So a lot of those games yesterday were throwing me for a loop.
Yeah, no. You know
How
what?
about
There
you?
was, and that's probably why your record. I mean, I don't know why my record is 7-6 and yours is 4-9. Obviously, there were some swing games in there that nobody was anticipating, but
Correct.
there were a lot of games going in that were going to be very hard to call, one way or the other. Because remember, as we were talking earlier in the week, the best 3 games, which actually turned out to be 2 of the 3 best games, were at the end of the day. before the whole Denver debacle happened with Peyton Manning. We thought that the Vikings, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos, and New England. Actually, we thought it was Kansas City, Denver, New England, the Giants, and the game last night between Arizona and Seattle. Okay. The Kansas City, Denver game didn't pan out to be anything worth watching. Okay.
No, not one bit.
But the other two games were probably two of the better games of the season in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So.
Right. And I didn't get to see it. So
sorry about that, man.
Right there in a nutshell.
Sorry about that.
Hey, what are you going to do, man? You can only see what's on your TV.
Okay. So where to next? New Orleans.
I don't know.
New Orleans, the team that you have no clue what's going on about.
Another debacle.
They got trashed by the Washington Redskins. Final score 47-14.
Hey, Brett, I like the hashtag Marco Polo Sanchez. Good job, buddy. I like that. Hey, Matt, what's going on? I like that.
I like his picture of Dallas Stadium myself.
Yeah, me too. Fits perfectly. Because they ain't going nowhere. Hey, Nick.
Okay, so Washington and New Orleans. You know what? No surprise to me, actually. Surprised that New Orleans didn't score more. Not totally, because Washington has really good defense when they're playing at the FedEx Field.
Right.
But it's no surprise to me that Washington manhandled that defense because they're pitiful. Why Rob Ryan still has his job today and has also been given the vote of confidence that he's keeping his job is beyond me.
It's beyond me. I don't get that at all. Not one bit do I get that. Hey, David, not one bit. I don't get that one iota. Unless they're just blowing smoke up everybody's ass right now, and then they're going to fire him at the end of the season. Which could very well be.
It's possible.
You know that.
It's possible.
You know how fickle owners are. What have you done for me lately? And lately you haven't done a damn hill of beans.
New Orleans just can't play a lick of football outside of the Superdome. That's all it comes down to.
I'm not picking them on the road no more.
And I usually never do, because Drew Brees historically has been bad playing outside on natural turf.
From now on, wherever they're on the road, I'm taking that home team they're playing.
Well, I'd hold off on that in case they're playing maybe Detroit in their dome.
Well, correct. Or maybe, no, even if they play Dallas, I'm picking. I have to pick. If they play Dallas in Dallas, I'm still going to pick New Orleans because I can never pick Dallas.
Well, it's kind of a dome.
Yeah,
you won't feel too uncomfortable in there.
Correct. But it's got a hole in it.
See, the thing is I think Drew Brees concerns himself a lot with something called wind and the way the ball changes in heavy winds and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, he needs to stop that and just throw the damn ball.
Okay, next game up. The Minnesota Vikings, the 7-2 NFC North leading.
Who saw this coming?
Minnesota Vikings went into the red hot offensive juggernaut called AC/DC in Oakland, shut them down to 14 points.
They sure
en
did,
route to a 30-14. I don't even want to call it anything.
They sure did, didn't they?
Yeah. Adrian Peterson.
They freaking spanked him.
Adrian Peterson's sixth career 200-yard game.
Spank. I don't get it.
And the thing here?
I'm telling you, the football gods were screwing everything up yesterday.
Yeah, because you know what?
I'm telling you.
All of us in a clean sweep picked Oakland.
Yeah, I know. Not one of our schmucks took freaking Minnesota. Adrian Peterson looked like he was playing against a freaking high school team.
And if anybody was to have taken him, it would have been me, because I've always said that Minnesota, they're looking rather tough right now. And with a fresh Adrian Peterson, who didn't, a reminder, folks, I know it was a bad situation with all
Didn't play last year.
abuse and all that kind of stuff, but this man had a year to rest and get his body back in shape.
And I didn't think his body would be able to handle it. That's
well, you
the
know
thing.
what? It's not just handling it, but he's surpassing whatever expectations he might have had for himself or others had of him.
Look at Rob Ryan, that long-haired hippie freak.
Yeah, Rob Ryan, he's, I don't know, man. That guy.
Long-haired hippie freak. All right, so we're going to run to our final update.
If you want, we can do
I changed
that.
it mid-shit. Yeah, let's run to our final update. This update is brought to you by The Flipper. Head on over to flipperflipper.com and never touch your toilet seat ever again. It's The Flipper, and it's at flipperflipper.com. Now, Christmas is coming, kids. This makes a great stocking stuffer. You guys are tired of touching your toilet seats. I know I am. I have mine on mine. Flipperflipper.com. Take it away, Elliot, with the final update of the day.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff. It is now 31 minutes after the hour of 7 p.m. here in the East, which just happens to make it the 4 p.m. hour out in the West. For all you in Central Mountain and Atlantic time zones, figure it out for yourself, because that is not what I or Jeff are here to do for you. I would also like to take a moment to give a big shout out once again to writer Greg Bell of the Seattle News Tribune for having taken the time to share with us his vast experience and knowledge of the Seattle Seahawks and the great sport of pro football. Now that we've covered those formalities, here's the final SWR update of the day. In the tonight in Cincinnati, the Houston Texans will be taking their show in to play the Cincinnati Bengals. That game will be on Monday Night Football, and we will be discussing that game after the break, or after the update, excuse me. In the NBA last night, Carmelo Anthony had 29 points and a season-high 13 rebounds, and the Knicks beat the New Orleans Pelicans 95-87. In Minneapolis, Jeff Green scored a season-high 21 points. Mike Conley matched his season-high with 20 to go with 6 assists, and the Grizzlies held on to beat the Timberwolves 114-106. In Charlotte, the Hornets guard Nicholas Batum let his game do the talking Sunday, scoring a season-high 33 points as the Hornets held off a fourth-quarter rally to beat the Portland Trailblazers 106-94. In Atlanta, French native Rudy Gobert wore his country's flag on his shoes and stood for its national anthem before Sunday night's game. Then he did his best to put aside his emotions and regarding the terrorist attacks in Paris on Friday, long enough to help the Utah Jazz end the losing streak. Derek Favors scored 23 points, Rodney Hood added 20, and the Jazz beat the Atlanta Hawks 97-96 to end that 3-game skid. In Oklahoma City, Marcus Smart scored a career-high 26 points to help the Boston Celtics beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 100-85 on Sunday night. He also was the centerpiece of a collective effort that held Westbrook, the reigning scoring champion, to a 5-for-20 shooting performance. In Sacramento, DeMarcus Cousins scored 10 of his 36 points in the fourth quarter and grabbed 10 rebounds to help the Kings win their third straight game, beating the Toronto Raptors 107-101. In Los Angeles at the Staples Center, Kobe Bryant had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists to help Los Angeles beat the Detroit Pistons 97-85 Sunday night for its second win of the year. And in NHL action last night, 2 games. In New York, Matt Zuccarello remained hot to help the New York Rangers accomplish something they hadn't done in more than 42 years. Zuccarello scored the winning goal off a rebound in 1904 of the third period after assisting on 2 others to help the Rangers extend their winning streak to 9 games with a 4-3 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs at Madison Square Garden. The Rangers, 14-2-2, hadn't won 9 consecutive games since the 72-73 season between the dates of January 19th and February 10th. They can tie their record for longest winning streak when they play the Tampa Bay Lightning at Amalie Arena on Thursday night. And in Chicago, Patrick Kane and Marian Hossa each had a goal and an assist to help the Chicago Blackhawks to a 4-1 win against the Calgary Flames at the United Center last night. This final update was brought to you by the Flipper. Now, just imagine, folks, never having to touch your toilet seat with either of your hands ever again. Well, that's exactly what you'll have when you get your hands on the Flipper. For more information on this must-own sanitary device and to get one of your own, visit flipperflipper.com. Once again, that's flipperflipper.com. Again, I am your co-host, Elliot Biggie Lumba, on the show that delivers real sports talk for real sports fans. That is Sports World Radio. That does it for this final update of the day. Now let's get it back over to Jeff for more of Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. We do the show each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. If you live anywhere else, please figure it out for yourself, because I live in California and he lives in the East, so we handled it right there. Hey, this show is brought to you by Professional Recording Studio Equipment.com. You guys need any recording equipment, microphones, mic cords, mic stands, anything to sound really good on Blab? Head on over to professionalrecordingstudioequipment.com. That's our sponsor of Sports World Radio. So head on over there and show some love to them for us. Thank you so much. What's the matter? What is she saying, Inky?
Yeah, she's saying you're a lazy hump.
Chops again. I am a lazy hump, but I'm here doing my job just like everybody else is here listening to us do our job for these people here each and every Monday through Friday, right here on Blab, theblabchannel.com, and on sportsworldradio.com. You can catch all the replays on sportsworldradio.com, or just head on over to the Blab channel or right here on Blab. All right, Mr. Elliott, where we going next?
Let's resume the games from yesterday. The next game up has been the source of a little bit of comedy today. The Kansas City Chiefs rolled into Denver yesterday. The Mile High City defeated the Denver Broncos 29-13. Bigger than that, two big things happened in that game. Peyton Manning broke the all-time passing yardage record of Brett Favre. And then turned around and got benched. Woo! He got benched with 5 completions out of 20 passes for 35 yards?
Five complete. He had 5 completions and 4 interceptions. Way to go.
That means that 44% of Peyton Manning's passes yesterday were intercepted.
He was 5 of 20 yesterday with
completed
35 yards. He got sacked twice and threw 4 interceptions.
Come to find out after the after the game that Coach what's their coach's name? Kubiak. Coach Kubiak actually had knowledge that Peyton Manning was suffering from a plantar fascia injury.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, easy.
And he didn't. I don't think he reported it. And he even said himself it was his judgment call. He made a bad call. He should have never let Peyton play in that game yesterday.
Oh, hey, for all you Denver Bronco fans, and I know there's some of you in here, on Friday, we're going to have Denver Post's own Cameron Wolf coming on the show to talk to us about the Denver Broncos. So get your Peyton Manning questions ready for Friday. Thursday, we got Darryl Ledbetter coming in from the Atlantic Journal-Constitution talking Falcons football. On Wednesday, we got John Pavnell coming in from Philly Magazine talking Eagles football. And tomorrow, from Fantasy Football Maniacs, fantasyfootballmaniacs.com, Derek Laughlin. So all you fantasy football guys and gals, get ready for tomorrow's show. Each person will be here at 6:45 Eastern.
Hey, you know what? I like that Twitter handle there, Wu-Tang Bunny. I'm giving that Twitter handle of the week award right there.
Wu-Tang Bunny. Wow. Do you have a link to that show? What show is that, Wu-Tang Bunny?
Hey,
we do all our shows live here on Blab, theblabchannel.com, and sportsworldradio.com each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. And if you just live in the central of the mountains, figure that crap out for yourself, because Ellie and I don't do math.
Yeah, Christine, plantar fasciitis, it is an issue with the arch of the foot. I've actually dealt with plantar fasciitis before, not at the level of a tear like Peyton Manning has, or a partial tear. But it is one of the most painful things you can ever experience. It's kind of just like stepping on a meat cleaver or just a butcher knife.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. His brother played through it.
Yeah. His brother played
Eli
through a full
it.
tear, but from what I understand,
Correct.
actually a full tear is more tolerable than a partial tear.
Oh, come on. You trying to make excuses?
No. It's something I read medically. There was some medical stuff that was being discussed, and it says that it's easier to deal with a full tear than it is to deal with a partial. So,
Christine says it's like having hot coals in your shoes.
Plus, he has bruised ribs.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe he shouldn't have
Thank you,
played
Wu-Tang
yesterday
Bunny.
then, huh? The only reason why he played yesterday is so he could break the record. That was the only reason. Maybe he shouldn't have played.
Hey, Brett
yesterday.
says maybe he's just old.
He is.
He is. He's falling apart. That's the first sign.
He's done. Hey,
FK,
FK,
welcome.
he's done. He's finished.
Totally.
You know that, right? He's not coming
I don't
back.
think.
next
You
year.
know what? I don't think the Broncos will bring him back, and I don't think there's any NFL team out there that's going to take the.
No, they better get ready. He better get ready to retire because that's where it's coming down.
Yep. It's
Exactly
headed that
where it's
way.
coming. How do you throw? How do you go from being Peyton Manning throwing 20 attempts and completing 5 of them and have 35 yards? How the hell does that happen? And throw 4 interceptions. How the hell does that happen if you're Peyton Manning?
It's called bruised
what
ribs and the
happens?
plantar fasciitis.
It's called being old.
Yeah,
Being old.
and-
What, Brett? Rob Ryan got fired?
Huh?
I'm looking for that. I don't see anything on that.
No,
right now.
I'm looking at the story, and it says Sean Payton has said that Brian's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. Well, that doesn't mean
At least
the
not
owner's
now.
not going to step
At
in
least
and
not
fire
now.
his ass.
But you know what? Peyton has that same kind of clout that like Pete Carroll and them boys do in New Orleans.
Huh.
You know, so
Right.
I think it's Peyton's
Right.
call at this
No, I
point.
agree with you. We'll see what
All
happens.
right.
NFL told you what they. Hey, NFL told you what they do. Call you up on
Yeah,
the phone
absolutely.
and tell you.
I have a bat line to the NFL.
No, I'm talking to Brett. Brett says the NFL
he can't
told
have
me.
he can't
Oh,
have that
what-
same line. It's exclusive.
Oh, his
Yeah,
NFL
he's
app.
trying to hack
said
someone.
it.
That's what he's doing.
They called him up on the phone and said, "Hey, Brett, we
His
just
NFL app?
found out that Rob Ryan got fired." Yeah.
Is that what it says in the
Hey,
app?
Fryer.
Because I saw somebody put that up too, but the story that keeps coming out is that he's staying for the time being anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
on
we'll see what
NFL.com. I don't see that.
Well, just
Let me
because
refresh.
that came out doesn't mean that it's
Yeah,
actually
nobody knows
true.
anything until you see it right plain in front of you, because a lot of these stories
Correct.
are, alternate sources and stuff like that. So I'll just wait. I'll wait. It's no big deal. I mean, New Orleans fans need to be more concerned about when Rob Ryan leaves than I do.
Yeah, and you know what? Firing Rob Ryan ain't gonna.
No,
make a
it's
hill
not
of
going to do a
beans
bit of difference. They don't have personnel.
Right. So might as well just keep him to the end. Right. They might as well just keep him to the end.
They
of the
don't have
season
personnel on defense.
Anyway. It ain't gonna matter. Correct. It's not gonna matter. He's just such a good guy. There were marijuana discrepancies that were naming strains after him. He just gave him a call and politically asked them to rename the product.
Who's
That's
that?
pretty funny. The Wu-Tang Buddy. I think,
No, I see that. Oh, Peyton?
That's pretty
Sean
funny.
Peyton?
Yeah. No,
Or Peyton
probably
Manning? Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. Probably Peyton Manning. Yeah, Peyton Manning. That's great. What are they calling it? A Manning strain?
Yeah, no, they
That's
probably
funny.
got all
The
kinds of
PM
good names.
strain. Yeah, the PM strain is what they're probably
Peyton
calling
Kush.
it. Peyton Kush. OG
Orange
Manning.
Crush.
OG Manning. Yeah, we go with that one right there. OG
Make
Manning.
an orange strain and call
Yeah.
it Orange Crush. There
Peyton
you go.
Crush. Yeah, or Manning Crush. You got a crush on Manning?
Demarius Dro.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway, hey, listen, before I get to the New England Giants game last night, I just want to cover one point in that Dallas game against Tampa. You know that there was a play at the end of the game where Des Bryant appeared to be more concerned about looking for a penalty on the defensive back for pushing him.
Yeah, because the guy pushed
Yeah,
off him. Yeah. Hey, I got an idea. You're not the referee. Just play the game.
Yeah,
and
instead
shut
of
up.
going after the ball or at least avoiding the interception from happening, preventing it. He did nothing. The first thing he did was look at the referee.
Yes. He's looking for the referee to bail him out because he's
and it wasn't happening. Right?
That's right. He was looking for the referee to bail him out because he screwed up.
So you know that Skip Bayless has two people he follows.
He's got one
on Twitter, right?
Correct. He follows only two people on his
and who
Twitter
are they?
account. Correct. Tony Romo and Des Bryant.
So that would make.
Why do I know that? I don't know, but I do. I don't know why, but
so you would think that he's pretty amicable when it comes to Des Bryant, right? Like he wouldn't really have anything negative to say about the man.
Well, he better, because that's speaking the truth. If he's always praising the son of a bitch when the guy screws up, then that's not really a fan. That's
Stephen A. asked Skip if he thought that. Well, actually, the question that was brought up did Skip believe that Des Bryant cost the Cowboys that game yesterday? Skip's response, and I quote, "I'm holding Des Bryant mostly at blame for yesterday's loss. He came up small in a big moment once again."
Well, he's not the quarterback. How many times did Des Bryant have the opportunity to touch the ball?
That was a great. Well, you know what? That was a great pass. First of all, he should have at least made an attempt. But earlier in the game, he had made a couple of critical drops that cost Dallas, or that shortened drives for Dallas. This is Des Bryant. He makes all this money. He needs to start playing the game and getting his head into it, and stop using crybaby excuses, because that's what makes him the perfect Dallas Cowboy.
The second he opened up his mouth, I'd turn around to him and says, "Hey, shut up, bitch. How many balls did you just drop right there? Quit your complaining. Catch the damn ball or shut up."
I just thought it was interesting that for a moment there, Skip turned on one of his two Twitter followees.
Yeah, well, maybe he's not following him no more.
I don't know. Got to go look up his page.
You know? Come on. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Hey, Lee.
Okay, now let's get to that New England Giants game from yesterday, which...
Oh, do we really have to? Good thing there's only 10 minutes left to go in the show.
It was a great game. I mean, it ended pretty much the way most people thought it would. Not necessarily from saying New England would have won the game, but it was a close game. And it had a Super Bowl flavor to it. The only thing, it wasn't the Super Bowl. And Eli Manning didn't know how to perform in the clutch unless he was in the Super Bowl against New England.
They almost did it, though. They almost did it. I have to pick the Giants because I'm a Giant fan, but I didn't think they were going to win.
No, I thought that the game would be close.
Run the ball in. Run the freaking ball in. Stop trying to run the damn ball.
Yeah, they didn't do that at the end there, and that could have been the downfall.
Ridiculous. It drove me crazy. That drove me nuts. I was yelling at the TV. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. It was driving me bananas. Why didn't you run the freaking ball?
They weren't doing it. They were trying to pass. They were trying to pass. And the thing is that by doing that,
run the ball right down the throat.
You weren't killing any clock by throwing incomplete passes. Exactly. You know, and that's what gave Tony Romo. That's what gave Tom Brady
blasphemy
enough time.
Right there. That's blasphemy right there.
Well, you know, according to Skip, there's a whole boatload of quarterbacks that are NFL Hall of Fame quarterbacks and possible Hall of Fame quarterbacks that Tony Romo is better than. So it kind of got just mixed up in my head for a second there.
Yeah, well, I have the list right here. Do you know, for people who've never heard me say this before, Skip Bayless from Second Take. That's what I like to call the show, Second Take, because it's not really the other name. Skip Bayless has actually said that Tony Romo is better than... Now, people, relax when I say all these names, because some of you might
make
have
sure
a
you're
heart
sitting
attack.
down.
Please be sitting down. Skip Bayless says that Tony Romo is a better quarterback than Fran Tarkington, Boomer Esiason, Aaron Rodgers, Rich Gannon, Bob Greasy, Dan Fouts, Bart Starr, Randall Cunningham, Troy Aikman, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Donovan McNabb, Jim McMahon, Roger Staubach, John Elway, Warren Moon, Steve Young, Brett Favre, and Drew Bledsoe. Are you freaking kidding? Maybe Drew Bledsoe, but are you kidding me?
Hey, did you notice that the guy missing on that list is the guy that replaced Drew Bledsoe?
Yeah. Tom Brady ain't on this list. I don't see Eli Manning on this list, and I don't see Peyton Manning on this list.
Is Drew Brees on that list?
No, he's not. Neither is Joe Flacco or
Give him
Matty
time.
Ice.
Hey,
and
give
I bet you he'll put him on that list
Give
in
him
about
time.
2 weeks. Yes, and you know who else is going to go on that list as far as Skippy's concerned? Wilson, the quarterback
Russell?
for Seattle too. Watch. Yeah, he'll put him on that
Actually, you
list,
know what?
and I'll turn around to him and say, "Scratch
I
my
actually
ass."
think Romo's better than Russell Wilson.
Oh, come
But-
on. You know what other name is not on here? Dan Marino's not on this list. You know that,
Now,
right?
the reason I say is because I brought up the fact that Tom Brady's name isn't on that list. It refers to it's in line with a Skip quote that I have here that
Okay.
you're going to really, really
Bring
love. Okay.
Bring it.
Skip says, my guy Tom Brady proved once again that he is the best quarterback in the history of this league. And yes, that includes my guy Tony Romo, who is second best.
Oh, God, I'm going to get... Hold on. I got to go find the garbage can so I can go throw up. Really? Really?
So that basically means that Tony Romo is better than every other quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Quarterback that's ever
Except
played
Tom
the
Brady.
game. Scratch my ass. No way. That's not... No way. Can you imagine somebody just coming into the room right now as I'm saying scratch my
and
ass?
They haven't heard what led up to it.
And they haven't heard what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can blame that
That'd
on
be pretty
Skip
funny.
Bayless because he has this way
That's
of
right.
saying things. And one of the biggest things that we really have a pet peeve over with him is that he claims that everything is his. It's his team. It's
Yes.
his quarterback. It's his offensive line. It's his defensive line. It's his kicker. It's this. It's that.
Yeah, I like it. It's my offensive line. I don't see you wearing no damn shoulder pads. My offensive line, my ass.
But yeah, I mean, he went on to say that Tom Brady once again has proven he's the best quarterback in NFL history, and that Romo is a close second.
Oh, I almost threw up in my mouth there for a second. Wow, that was the. I'm Skip. You know what, Michael? You're right, Michael. Skip is probably on crack.
Yeah, he is. I
sure
think he might be.
I'm sure.
I think he might be.
I'm sure Stephen A. Smith had plenty to say about
Oh,
that.
he definitely, kind
I'm sure
of
he
cut
did.
him short at that point. But
You know what? Right, you're right. Let's put Skip in some pads and have Ray Lewis tee off on the son of a bitch.
Ray Lewis and
Yeah.
J.J. Watt.
Okay, but Ray Lewis ain't playing no more, so let's have just
There you go.
J.J. Watt.
Hey, you know
do
what?
it.
Skip Bayless.
Wipe his
Hey, you
ass
know
out.
what? Even Jadeveon Clowney might be able to sack Skip Bayless.
True. Very true.
He can't sack nobody else.
How does this guy say, my Dallas Cowboys, my offensive line, my bulletin,
My guy Tom Brady is better than my guy Tony Romo.
Yeah, okay. Scratch my ass on the
That's
my guy
basically
stuff,
what he's
okay,
saying.
dude? Hey, Skip, get off the perforated fence because your ass has got too many holes in it. All right? Unbelievable, man. Get off the perforated
So
fence.
anyway,
and
the
stop
Patriots
sitting on
remained undefeated. Stephen A., they asked him if he thought that the Giants had lost the game or that the Patriots won. He believed that it was more of a Giant loss than the Patriots win.
Hey, you want to know something? The Giants lost yesterday. Philadelphia lost yesterday. Dallas lost yesterday. Thank you very much.
And Skip turned around and said, all I care about is that my guy, Tom Brady, beat Eli Manning by 1 point. All the rest is just talk.
Blah, blah, blah. You know what, Skip Bayless? That's what I hear coming out of your mouth. Blah, 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 blah.
Diarrhea?
Yeah, you know, what was the teacher's name in Peanuts that talked like that? Wah, 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 wah.
I have no idea.
That's what you sound like, the teacher from the Peanuts cartoon. Wah, 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 wah. That's what you sound
Okay,
like.
with 5 minutes left to go, let's talk about tonight's Monday Night Football game.
Oh,
Yeah,
do we
we
have to? It's Andy Dalton.
Andy
Come
Dalton,
on.
the Cincinnati Bengals are hosting. Who is that? Brian Hoyer and the Houston Texans.
Okay, so Dallas is the team that scored the least points this week. 6 right?
points, 2 field goals. Houston.
You think Houston will score more than 6 points?
I think
tonight?
they will. I think they might score.
Against
I think they might score 9.
Against
Sure.
that defense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
You know why?
Hoyer's not that
Because
good.
regardless
Come
if
on.
it makes sense or not, I just love to see the Cowboys finish last in everything.
Hoyer ain't
I
that
just
good.
like to
Come
see the
on
Cowboys
now.
finish last at everything.
I know you do. I know you do.
So, if anything, it's more of an emotional pick.
Oh, it's the same voice in the Samson in the Simpson fast food drive-through. The wah 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 wah. That's what I hear. When Skippy
Okay, so
talks.
what's there to talk about? Houston Texans, no Arian Foster.
Nothing.
They have probably one of the top, at least 3 to 5 receivers in the league in DeAndre Hopkins. Okay.
Nothing to talk about with them.
Well, actually, Hopkins is
They
good.
stink.
And Hoyer, I mean, I think they're going to put up some points only because Hoyer plays better when he doesn't have anybody looking or doesn't have to look over his
Tell you
shoulder.
what.
And
I'll tell you what. Let's make this game fun. Cincinnati, put your third string defense in there for the first half. Let's make this game fun.
I don't think,
Let's make this
I don't
game
really
fun.
think that that's going to happen.
Okay?
Man.
Put their third string defense in for the first half, and then in the second half, the first string could play. Let's make it fun. Hey, at least give Houston a chance to win the game for Jiminy
Make it
Cricket's
fun for
sake.
who, though?
For Houston.
Oh, you think that?
Because
You
Andy
don't think they're
Dalton,
going to have any fun?
come on. I'll tell you what. Let's make it even more funner. Let's give Houston a 14-point lead before the game even starts. How about that?
Hey, do you know that?
Let's put Cincinnati right behind the
You
eight
know that
ball.
Brian Hoyer only has 5 less touchdown passes than Andy Dalton?
Tom Brady?
No, Brian
Andy
Hoyer.
Dalton. Brian Hoyer. Look who he plays for. They got to throw the ball all the time because they're down all the time.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why he's only 5 behind.
Yeah, but
You know?
Texans would be in complete total trouble. Not that they aren't already, but if they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, can AJ Green be stopped?
Can AJ Green be stopped?
Sure.
I think the only person that can stop AJ Green is AJ Green. For right now.
They can put as many people as they want on AJ Green, but that's going to leave Marvin Jones and Mohamed Sanu open, and they don't want none of that either.
Correct. Oopsie.
So AJ Green's going to get his
6,
regardless.
Yeah, it's 6 and 1, half a dozen of the other. You know that.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like that's the same question. Is anybody going to
6 and 1,
stop
half a
Julio
dozen,
Jones? Is
yeah.
anybody stop Antonio Brown? No. You can only hope to contain those folks because nobody can stop them.
Exactly. Hey, don't forget we do this show each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. You live in Essential. Figure it out for yourself right here on blab.im, theblabchannel.com, and sportsworldradio.com.
And with that,
and don't forget this show.
And with that, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you to wrap up the show.
Thank you, my friend. And with that being said, this show is brought to you by Professional Recording Studio Equipment. Head on over to professionalrecordingstudioequipment.com and get all your equipment there. Microphones, mic cords, mic stands, anything you need to sound professional on Blab to make your shows sound great and sound professional. because audio is king right now when you're on Blab. Also video, but you got to sound good. Head on over to professionalrecordingstudioequipment.com. With all that being said, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. We had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. Don't forget, every single day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. at night, we do this show. Join us here on Sports World Radio. Until then, my friends, remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable. Peace out, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. And don't forget, Derek Laughlin, Football Maniacs, coming in, talk about some fantasy football tomorrow. Join us at 6:45 for that. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Peace out, bitches.
Thanks for listening to Sports World Radio with your hosts, Jeff Eskow and Elliot Big E Lomba. Online at sportsworldradio.com. Sports World Radio, the equal opportunity ripper. We'll catch you next time.